Every realtor thinks they're behind on AI. I get calls all the time and talk to people about this specific subject, but the truth is, most agents haven't even started on AI. And you might think that's maybe different from the truth because you see it all over the internet. People posting on social media about AI or using AI, but the truth is, the majority of agents still aren't there. And I want to let you into a secret today that you're perfectly positioned to leapfrog about 90% of your competition, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this video. So I want to make sure you get everything you need out of this video, so here's how we're going to do it. This video, we're going to talk about where most agents actually are at with AI, what the minimal viable AI toolkit you need is to be efficient, to be effective, to get going with artificial intelligence in your business. We're going to talk about a simple 30-day implementation plan that I'm going to lay out for you step by step, week after week for 4 weeks, a whole plan that you can just go through yourself. And then I'm going to tell you how to measure that success. So if that sounds good to you, let's keep on rolling. Now, there was a survey done of about 500 agents, and the statistics were pretty interesting. 500 isn't a huge number, but it's enough to get a kind of relevancy of what's going on. So out of 500, 78% of agents said that they'd tried ChatGPT. They'd used it for a listing description or a social media post. They tried it at least. 78%, once or twice they've tried it. The next number is 23%. 23% of agents say they use it weekly for some sort of task, some sort of business task, something that they do, they use it weekly. So log on when they need something. Not really integrating it specifically, but it's like, oh, I think I could do it with that. They'll click on it, use it. So 23%. Here's where it gets pretty interesting for me. Only 8% of those agents actually use it in a daily workflow, meaning they've got ChatGPT open or Gemini open and they're using it on a daily basis for something in their business. 8%. That's a very small percentage if we really look at that. And then less than 3% are actually using AI every single day specifically to run things in their business and automate. So lead gen, client communication, onboarding systems, less than 3% are actually doing that. And that specific number is very telling to me because I see so many agents and talk to agents about using AI in their business, and it's just this overwhelm. And we really need to figure out how we can actually implement this to the point where this number here of people implementing it into their business gets up to this number. Because I was on a call with the CEO of eXp Realty, Leo Pereira, and he was saying that he thinks in about 16 months, agents who are not using AI are kind of going to be obsolete. And that's a pretty scary number to talk about. So when we look at things, when I look at the kind of landscape of agents, the landscape of realtors out there, for me, I see three pretty clear categories of agents, right? Demographics of agents. There's three ones for me that are pretty clear here. The first one is the curious, right? They've played with ChatGPT, maybe wrote a listing description with ChatGPT, but they're not using it consistently. Very similar, that's 78% that we talked about. That's that first agent of category. So that might be you. And if it is you, that's okay. I'm going to show you how to ramp things up. The next category is the skeptical. And you might have met a lot of people like this. I certainly have. Skeptical who say AI is overhyped, AI is not relevant. I'm waiting for AI to prove itself so I can see it and more effectively, and they're just avoiding putting time into learning this tool and learning the skill sets around using artificial intelligence. That might be you too. And the last one here is the overwhelmed. This is kind of who I see for the most part and who I talk to. A lot of people are just overwhelmed. They know that they need to start using AI, but they have no idea where to start. There's all these tools out there. There's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, there's Grok, there's Gamma, there's all these different things, and all these different companies are now bringing out their AIs. And it's like, where do you even start? And they're really paralyzed by this kind of chaos of abundance of all this technology. And here's the deal, like, we don't have time to learn everything about AI. We've got businesses to run, we've got clients to service. How can you be expected to put that amount of time into learning this whole other world and bringing it into your business. And that's kind of what we're really talking about today, because this isn't about AI replacing you or building AI to replace you. This is about how we're going to use AI to amplify your existing strengths. How are we going to do that? What are your main strengths? How can we amplify that? And there's two really ways to do this, which is to think about what the best thing that you are. Typically for us as realtors, it's human connection. I'm best with my clients. I'm best with talking to people. I'm best with meeting people. I'm best with creating a community. Okay, well, how can we get that off your plate in terms of the other stuff that doesn't feed into that? So maybe it's the admin work, maybe it's the social media. How can we start to automate and use AI for these things so that that stuff can get off your plate and you can go out there and do your thing that you're best at? And what I think is a very interesting thing that a lot of people forget is typically the people who first adopt a technology aren't the most savvy. And that's okay. If you're getting into AI and you're starting to use things, but it's clunky, you can't figure it out, we're still in the birth of this technology. Like in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, this is going to be unrecognizable. So don't worry if you're clunking around. Like the first adopters of most technologies that come out are clunky, aren't very savvy. Think about when social media first came out, when YouTube first came out. It was completely different than it is now. So just get in and get your hands dirty. So how do we do that? How do we just jump into this? Whether you are the skeptical kind, the novice, whoever you are, whatever profile we talked about, how do you start to work through this? I want to give you the toolkit you need for the minimal viable AI experience in your business. And it's really not a lot. So let's jump into that. I'll show you what that is. The first one you need is an LLM, which is a large language model. That's your ChatGPT or Google Gemini, whatever that is, okay? These are called large language models. So Gemini for me, I absolutely love it, but ChatGPT is great as well. They do different things. I use them both, to be honest, but just pick one of these and just go with it. So that's the first thing you need. At the top line, this is going to cost you $20 a month for an LLM, which is going to be the brain behind everything that you do. So get that, okay? This handles 80% of all your AI needs that we're going to be talking about and going through today. All right, tool number 2 is for automation. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't really think about yet. Automation's actually been here for quite some time. Now with AI integrated, we can make this a lot more simpler and effective to use. So you need an automation tool like something like Zapier or NAN or whichever one you want, right? Zapier is the easiest plug and play one you can do. You can just jump on there and be like, I want to connect my CRM to this, make it happen, let's go. And it can plug into ChatGPT, it can plug into all these different things. So an automation tool is really what you want. This is how you can start to relieve yourself from parts of your business that you're just kind of like, oh, because you can just have it automate. You can have it every single day, plug in and go and go and go. So automation tools like Zapier are phenomenal. And then tool number 3 is something that you might build yourself or you can get it. And it is a prompt library. See if I can spell that right. Probably not. Prompt library. Now, what is this? When you go into an LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini, you're prompting it. Most people don't really understand prompt engineering, how it works, how you can get it to really get the best results. If you just go in and say, give me a listing presentation for blah, 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 it's tough to get really what you want. So you have to prime it, you have to give it a role. You have to say, okay, you're, the #1 copywriter in the world who's phenomenal at creating incredible reading experiences, okay. And then you have to give it like what we're doing. Here's the task. Okay, we're creating a description for a new listing that I've got coming out. Here's all the stuff about it. And then you tell it what output you want as well. Put this in a easy to read, 2 paragraphs in a page. So prompting engineering is pretty interesting. There's a lot of different thoughts around it. That's kind of the way I do it. I give it a role, then I give it the task, and then I give it the output. That's kind of the easiest way to do it. Role, task, output. But what you want to do is once you start writing these prompts, you want to get a Google Doc or something and just start creating your own prompt library. So just have it like, okay, marketing prompts, sales prompts, social media prompts, executive assistant prompts, whatever it is for you. just start listing them out and creating your own library. That way you can go in and look for them, copy paste it into a new chat, and Bob's your uncle, instead of having to go back and prime it all again. And you can also just create templates and stuff like that. But creating a library is a huge time saver. And if you stick around to the end, I'll give you my starter library that you can take and plug into all your stuff as well. So hang out till the end and I'll give you that. So if we look at this all in, right, prompt library is free because you're making that yourself. We get $20 for an LLM, and then depending on how much you use Zapier, let's just say that's going to be something like $15 a month, if that. So $35 a month to start building out AI tools, automation tools to get things moving. It's less than a cup of coffee every single day. And this is something that can truly move your business forward, and it gets you out of your own way about, oh my gosh, I need to learn all this stuff. Speaking about that, let's jump into this. I'm going to give you a 30-day implementation plan that you can start to go through. 4 weeks is all you need. You'll get going with this. So let's walk through this together. 4 weeks, I say, I like 4-week things because you can just do it week by week by week by week. So let me show you this. Week number 1 is going to be our foundation week. So in this one, you just want to set things up. Super duper easy. So set up ChatGPT Plus if you're going to pay for that, or Gemini if you already have it, whatever, no big deal. Your next goal is to learn 3 basic prompts. So learn 3 basic prompts and just figure out how to prompt. Remember, get the role, get the task, and get the output. And just learn 3 basic ones that you want to do. Just stop yourself from just going in on a 1-liner, 2-liner. Hey, do this. You want to make sure that you give it that context and just do it with 3 things that you do. And I want you to use it daily for one thing. So use AI daily for just one thing. It could be anything. It could be responding to emails. It could be looking through an inspection objection. It could be anything like that. Just use it for one thing daily that you can do every single day. Super easy. It could even be your workout plan. It could be your gym coach, whatever it is. Just do something daily where every single day you're opening ChatGPT or Gemini and being like, okay, boom, I'm in. And it's just going to get you into that habit of doing that. We've got some starter prompts here. These are kind of 1-liners, so I would definitely expand on these, but you can see like, help me write a professional email to this, create a social media post about this for real estate agents, and analyze the market and give me 3 key insights. Now, these are kind of so. I would make sure that you do the kind of prompt engineering that we're talking about. These will give you outputs, but they're not going to be everything. So for example, help me write a professional email to situation. I would start that off as, you are, assistant GPT, the world's best personal assistant who responds to emails, who manages everything that I do and writes in my communication style. I want you to respond to this email. I'd probably copy the context and put it in there in a manner that's agreeable, or whatever the outcome you're trying to do. Make sure you put it out in easy to understand language and avoid any AI style language, which, it's like, hey, fellow realtors, that stuff. So start doing that. Start just prompting it for specifically one thing daily that you can plug into. So that's week number 1. Then we got the basics down. Week number 2, we're jumping into expansion. So we're going to add another 3 prompts to the toolkit. This could be whatever it is you want. Start to really think about what you can add to your business. Start using voice input. This one's huge. You'll start to find as you use AI more and more and more, like the typing part of it gets really dull and maniacal. So you can have conversations with either ChatGPT or Gemini on your phone. You can just go into voice mode and go back and forth. I will say the one with Gemini is unbelievable. It's unreal. So get in there and play with it and go voice talk to text. We do this with our agents for a lot of role-playing scenarios. You might be on the way to a listing presentation and you're like, hey Gemini, I'm on my way to a listing presentation, it's this price and blah, 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 give all the details. I want you to role play with me as the seller and give me feedback, give me objections, give me all stuff. And you can just go right into objection handling over voice. It's phenomenal. So make sure that you're using that voice input on week 2 and get used to that. And then begin building your prompt library, stuff that you've now done for 2 weeks that's working for you, that prompts are making sense to you. Start putting those into your library and building that out. Focus areas could be content creation, client communication, and letting AI handle first drafts of emails. So that's week 2. Now we're getting into the weeds. Now we're getting into this daily usage. We're doing things and we're rocking and rolling. Week number 3 is all about integration. So integration is how we start to get the business moving by itself without us. So we're going to connect AI to an existing workflow. And if you don't have workflows, don't worry about it. We can start to build those out. But you want to think about a process in your business that you do over and over and over again. Something that maybe you would give to a VA or a virtual assistant or a whoever. What's one thing that I do all the time that I'm just like, why am I doing this? This is a waste of time for me to physically be doing this. Let's build AI into that. And here's the deal. If you don't know how to do that, guess what you do? You ask the AI. Just ask your LLM how to do this. So if it's, setting up a drip campaign for brand new clients who came into this for blah, 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 just go into Gemini or ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to automate this so I don't have to put in all the information. I've got Zapier, I've got Gemini, here's my CRM, how do I set this up? And it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to do it. So don't overthink this. If you don't know how to do something, ask AI. So we're setting up, connecting AI to an existing workflow. We're setting up our first simple automation just like that. And we're going to start to measure the time that we're saving. This is the big exciting part for me. I'm a nerd with time. But you start to measure how much time you're saving using these tools. This is the game changer. For me, honestly, I'm probably saving at least 8 to 10 hours a week with my workflows, with everything I'm doing here. So that's week number 3. And then the last week here is optimization. So we want to look at the prompts we've been using. We want to figure out what's been working, what's not, and we want to refine them a little bit. This prompt is great, but it's not giving me the best outputs. Maybe you're using it for YouTube scripts or something like that, and it just sounds a little robotic. So how can we go in there and refine that prompt and get it to be a little more human-like? And then we want to start using more sophisticated AI techniques. This could be in terms of different programs like a Manus or something like that that's starting to go into more agentic AI and getting things moving in there. We're going to be doing a lot of videos on that kind of stuff. And then plan your next AI implementation. What's the next future opportunity in your business that AI could get itself involved? What would that be? If we're doing role playing already, if we're doing presentations already, what's next? Could I get it into my email? Could I get it into my calendar to start scheduling better? Could I go through a process of finding out what things I'm spending time on and what things I should not be spending time on? Funnily enough, I actually have a custom GPT for that I'll link in the description, which is an Eisenhower matrix for realtors. So you can go in there, click, it'll take you through a bunch of questions about your business, and it will tell you where you're spending time effectively and where you're not, and it will help you to streamline that. So you can look at building custom GPTs as well for your clients, for people who are relocating to your city, and all sorts of different things. So that's the 4-week plan. And just remember, guys, here's the biggest thing you have to remember. This isn't about the technology. It's not about being the best at AI. It's not about like I'm all AI focused. It's not about that. It's about what you can do with reclaimed time that you save from this stuff. This stuff's cool. It's fun to do. It's fun to mess around with and build things and stuff. It's awesome. But the whole goal of this is not to have AI do all this stuff so then we can fill that time in with some other BS that we're all doing. The goal is to save us time so we can build a lifestyle. So that's the really cool thing to think about. If I can build this out, how much time is it saving me? What can I do with that reclaimed time? Can I pour into my community? Can I pour into my clients? Can I be a better dad? Can I be a better spouse? What does that look like for you? This is what I'm excited about with AI. The amount of time that it saves and what you can do with that time that you get back. There's never been a bigger opportunity than right now to jump into this and actually build a lifestyle business, meaning you run a business that fuels the life you want to live For years now, as realtors, all we've been doing is putting out fires and doing business first, business first, business first, and everything else comes later. AI is literally the golden goose that could set you free from that and start to take on so much pieces of your business that you have more time for yourself, for your well-being, for your family's well-being, for your community, and however you actually want to spend it. So you might be someone who is in that 78% of people who are just like, listen, I'm not tech savvy enough. I can't figure this out. I can't build it. Well, if you can text on a phone, you can use AI. That's all you need to know. If you have thumbs and the ability to type, you can use AI. Or if you can talk with your mouth, you can use AI. It's not some crazy machine that's behind a curtain that you have to plug in wires to and figure it all out. You just need to type questions and get answers. And if you give it better questions, you get better answers and better output. Now, the last thing I really want to touch on real quickly, if you're getting into this, is this. Your clients. We have to protect our clients in this business. We have a fiduciary responsibility to protect our clients. But what does that look like when it comes to our clients? Well, we want to do a couple things. We want to make sure that we keep things confidential. None of their private information should go into any of these LLMs. See, the thing about these is that they're trained on public data that we actually put into it. It's funny that we're actually the product. AI isn't the product, we are. It's learning from us. But anyway, keep it confidential. If you're going to upload things, you can upload contracts, you can upload inspection objections, but if you need to take the address off, take the client's name off, any confidential data, take it off. And of course, when in doubt, don't refer to me. Go ask your broker and they will tell you what policies the brokerage has and has not around AI and how that is working. So finishing up, you've got two choices. You can be the scarcity-minded agent who just keeps on worrying about AI, who feels like they're behind and will just never start with it. Or you can start today and be ahead of 95% of agents in 30 days. So click the link in the description below and you'll get 3 things here. You'll get the checklist for the implementation process that we went through, the 4 weeks to jump in and get through. You'll get the 20 most used prompts from realtors that we've seen time and time and again. That way you can start your prompt library, chop and change, do whatever you want with it. And you'll get a custom GPT for the Eisenhower matrix to make sure that you're spending time the way that you should be in your business, not the way that you have been. And this is all free. You don't have to sign up for anything, click on emails or any BS opt-in. Just grab it. So here's the deal, guys. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. You just need to get to work. Let's go.